We will continue from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 11. Share my screen. Text 18. So as Krishna's entering Dwarka, the reaction of the Dwarkavasis, Krishna's near and dear ones in Dwarka, who've missed Krishna for a long time because he was away in Hastinapur helping the Pandavas win the battle. So translation goes, they hastened towards the Lord on chariots and brahmanas bearing flowers. Before them were elephants, emblems of good fortune, conch shells, and bugles were sounded, and Vedic hymns were chanted. Thus, they offered their respects, which were saturated with affection. So, as we discussed last time, when Krishna enters Vrindavan, it's a lot less loyal. Lot less royal, like elephants and conch shells and all. And it's a lot more village-like, simple, right? With simple forest flowers and garlands and things like that. But this is Dwarka. This is where he is a king. So hence you see things like elephants, bugles, conch shells, and that's how he's being received with Vedic hymns and all that, right? Text 19. Somebody wants to read? Okay, I'll read. Varamukhascha shatascho yenaistad darshano sukha lasad kundala nirbhata kapula vadana shriyaha. At the same time, many hundreds of well-known prostitutes began to proceed on various vehicles. They were all very eager to meet the Lord, and their beautiful faces were decorated with dazzling earrings, which enhanced the beauty of their foreheads. Purport. We may not hate even the prostitutes if they are devotees of the Lord. Even to date, there are many prostitutes in great cities of India who have sincere devotees of the Lord. By tricks or chance, one may be obliged to adopt a profession which is not very adorable in society. But that does not hamper one in executing devotional service to the Lord. Devotional service to the Lord is uncheckable in all circumstances. It is understood herewith that even in those days, about 5,000 years ago, there were prostitutes in the city of Dwarka, where Lord Krishna resided. This means that prostitutes are necessary citizens for the proper upkeep of society. The government opens wine shops, but this does not mean that government encourages drinking of wine. The idea is that there is a class of men who will drink at any cost, and it has been experienced that prohibition in great cities encourage illicit smuggling of wine. Similarly, men who are not satisfied at home require such concessions. And if there is no prostitute, then such low men will induce others into prostitution. It is better that prostitutes be available in the marketplace so that the sanctity of society can be maintained. It is better to maintain a class of prostitutes than to encourage prostitutes within society. The real reformation is to enlighten all people who become devotees of the Lord, and that will check all kinds of deteriorating factors of life. Sri Bilvamangal Thakur, a great acharya of the Vishnu Swami Vaishnava sect, in his household life was overly attached to a prostitute who happened to be a devotee of the Lord. One night, when the Thakur came to Chintamani's house in torrents of rain and thunder, Chintamani was astonished to see how the Thakur could come on such a dreadful night after crossing a foaming river which was full of waves. She said to Thakur Billamangal that this attraction for the flesh and bone of an insignificant woman like her would be properly utilized if it could be diverted to the devotional service of the Lord to achieve attraction for the transcendental beauty of the Lord. It was a momentous hour for the Thakur, and it took a turn towards spiritual realization by the words of a prostitute. Later on, the Thakur accepted the prostitute as his spiritual master. And in several places of his literary work, he has glorified the name of Chintamani, who showed him the right path. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 32, the Lord says, O son of Pritha, even the low-born Chandalas and those who are born in family of unbelievers, and even the prostitutes shall attain perfection of life if they take shelter of unalloyed devotional service to me. Because in the path of devotional service, there are no impediments due to the degraded birth and occupation. The path is open for everyone who agrees to follow. It appears that the prostitutes of Dwarka, who were so eager to meet the Lord, were all his unalloyed devotees. And thus, they were all on the path of salvation, according to the above version of the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, the only reformation that is necessary in society is to make an organized effort to turn the citizens into devotees of the Lord. And thus, all good qualities of the denizens of heaven will overtake them in their own way. On the other hand, those who are non-devotees have no good qualification whatsoever. However, they may be materially advanced. The difference is that the devotees of the Lord are on the path of liberation, whereas the non-devotees are on the path of further entanglement in material bondage. The criterion of advancement of civilization is whether the people are educated and advanced on the path of salvation. A very powerful verse, a very controversial verse, and I'm open to hearing questions and realizations if you have to share. But before we do that, I want to share another analogy, a story about a prostitute that will help us understand this concept even better. There used to be a prostitute in her apartment, and right next to her, under a banyan tree, was a great sage who would meditate on chanting of the holy name. But then every day he would see that clients would enter the prostitute's quarter, and he would be disgusted. And he would be like, yuck, this prostitute has no hope. She's living such a sinful life. And that was her meditation. That was his meditation on the prostitute. And the prostitute, as she did her business, she would think about the sage and think, how fortunate is that sage, sitting under the tree, chanting the holy name of Krishna. When will that day come to me, when I'll be able to chant the holy name of Krishna, when I'll be able to serve the Supreme Lord purely? Look at my wretched condition. I am, in this lowly form of life where I'm doing these activities. And here is this great sage who's chanting the holy name of the Lord and serving him. So it so happened there was a time for death to come, both for the prostitute and the holy man. And as the Vishnudutas came and the Yamadutas came, it so happened that the Yamaduta came to the sage, and the Vishnuduta came to the prostitute. And the sage was very perturbed. He's like, something is terribly wrong here. Hello, you see the saffron? You see that I'm a sage? I'm chanting here under a banyan tree? This is what Vishnuduta is supposed to come. That's where the Yamaduta is supposed to go. And the Vishnuduta said, no, we didn't make a mistake. You've been sitting as a sage, but you're meditating on the prostitute. And the prostitute is sitting in her apartment, but meditating on the Lord and meditating on your good fortune of serving the Lord. So, at the time of death, she left with the thoughts of the Lord, whereas you were more absorbed on the thoughts of the prostitute. Hence, the Yamaduta is here and the Vishnuduta is there, right? So, Krishna consciousness, there's a reason why Srila Prabhupada named it International Society for Krishna Consciousness, because it's about the consciousness. Now, it's wonderful if we can align our act with the consciousness. But sometimes the act and the consciousness might not align. For example, there are demoniac kings who are Krishna conscious, and their demigods who are materialistic, like Indra, right? Who was that king who won against Indra? Vittasur. So this Vittasur was a demon who was a devotee, and he was extremely powerful, and he was winning against Indra. And then he told Indra, "My dear Indra, if you want to defeat me, you have to get this rib cage of certain sage, and with that you can defeat the Dichi. You can defeat me." And it is apparently, if you look at it, Indra won the battle by killing Vrittasura. But for Vrittasura, although the Lord is supporting Indra because he always supports the demigods, Vrittasura goes back to godhead. Indra, with his kingdom, stays materially entangled. So although one is from a demon background, demoniac background, son of a demon, but is a devotee. And one who is a demigod, king of the demigods, happens to be materialistic in nature. So that's the beauty of Krishna consciousness, that it doesn't matter who you are, whether you are a chandala, whether you are a drug dealer, whether you're a dacoit. I had the great fortune of meeting such devotees who have been very different in their past lives. Mother Malati, she's a governing body of ISKCON. She and her husband, Shamsundar Prabhu, used to sell drugs. And they're the pillars of ISKCON. They made ISKCON happen serving Srila Prabhupada. We know so many dacoits who have become devotees. We know so many pickpockets who are excellent Bhagavatam reciters and devotees of the Lord. So bhakti is transforming, right? Sthane sthita shrutigatam tanuman manobhir. That wherever you are, whatever you're doing, shrutigatam, hear about the Lord. By hearing, you'll think about the Lord. By remembering the Lord, you'll get purified. You'll become Krishna conscious, Krishnaized, and thereby you will become a devotee of the Lord, no matter who you are. So in Kali Yuga, there is hope for everyone, right? Because we're all Jagai Madhas in a little form. Right? We might not be as as fallen as Jagai Madha. I'm not murdering people or raping people, but we have our baggage, right? We have done our amount of bad karma, but there is hope for all. And what to speak of those who are apparently hopeless? We have a wonderful sannyasi in ISKCON named His Holiness Chandramouli Swami. His life is dedicated to preaching in prisons. So he and his team, they visit prisons, the worst of criminals, Jagai Badais of today, and preaches to them and transforms them. So many wonderful devotees have come out of it, right? They're transformed. That is a real correctional facility. Correctional facility is supposed to transform people. But what happens when people get out of jail? They go back to doing the same damn thing and they go back to jail again. But with these devotees decided, we will target the jails only, preaching in jail, and thereby transforming people, right? And that's the real transformation. So it is, and there's so many wonderful stories about that, where the judge have seen that, this person has completely changed from being who they were to where, they have become, and judges sentence them lightly or release them just to see the transformation, that this is what society needs. So whether it's prostitutes or gamblers or drug dealers or whoever, Lord Nityananda's mercy goes to the lowest of the low. That's where his attention goes, right? So who's the most fallen? His savior is Lord Nityananda, most merciful. So there is hope. I'll share a nice story of Srila Prabhupada. When Srila Prabhupada was building Juhu temple, and as you know, Srila Prabhupada would initiate people very quickly and get them to sannyasis, very quickly. Today, to be a sannyasi, you have to be 50 years old minimum. And then there's so many qualifications and credibilities. But Prabhupada was building a worldwide movement. He needed soldiers who were dedicated. So he was initiating sannyasis. One such sannyasi, who was a 23-year-old, while Prabhupada was away, he got attached to a Yogi Baba. And this Yogi Baba would enter a coin through one ear, take out the coin through another ear, through yogic siddhis. So this sannyasi got attached to this Yogi Baba, started doing yogic siddhis and things like that. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj, who was Prabhupada's right-hand man, very strong devotee, very strong sannyasi, GBC, he kept on chastising the sannyasi. Don't do this, don't do this. No, this is not what we do. We don't do magic show in bhakti. We transform lives, we transform hearts. That's what our magic is. Don't get into this yoga siddhis. And then one day, this sannyasi started living with the Yogi Baba. So Prabhupada was visiting Mumbai. Tamal Krishna Maharaj came to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada, he said, Prabhupada, enough is enough. This person has broken all restrictions. You must kick him out of ISKCON. Prabhupada said, what happened? He said, I've been telling him over and over again, and this person keeps going to this Yogi Baba and putting coin through one ear, taking out of another ear, all these stupid tricks, he's learning. And now he's staying with that Yogi Baba. Can you imagine? He has no hope whatsoever. Just kick him out of ISKCON. Srila Prabhupada said, no hope, you say? You have no idea. You have no idea the mercy of Lord Nityananda. Everyone has hope. Everyone has hope. Lord Nityananda's mercy knows no limit, knows no logic. Everyone has hope. So never say somebody has no hope. No matter how rotten, fallen they are, if they take shelter of Krishna, they immediately have access to mercy. Everyone has hope. And when Tamal Krishna Maharaj was saying that, he had a huge realization that how merciful is this process. That in Kali Yuga, in once in 1,000 Yuga cycles, Lord Chaitanya comes. And in that one Yuga cycle, in one Kali Yuga, he gives so much mercy that every person has hope, no matter how fallen, no matter how qualified or unqualified they are. Right? Bichar to nahi re, maar khe prem dai, bichar to nahi re. So he has no sense of judgment, Lord Nityananda. He gets beaten up by Jagai Mathai, and in return, he gives Krishna Prema. This is the nature of Lord Nityananda. Because the instruction came from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you go to every household and you beg them to chant the holy name. Hence, Lord Nityananda took it as his life's mission, that the most unqualified person, I will give them my mercy. And he went first to Jagai Badhai. Once he transformed them, they started chanting 190 rounds every day. Then he started going to every household, the Muslims, the low caste, it doesn't matter. Meat eater, vegetarian, Vaishnava, Brahmana, he went door to door. Please chant Krishna's holy name. Will you chant Krishna's holy name? Okay, I'll chant tomorrow. No, will you chant the Hare Krishna mantra? I will chant Hare Krishna tomorrow. You said Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. Life is perfect. Your life is perfect. This was Lord Nityananda's mood. So when we preach, we're actually trying to be very small assistants of Lord Nityananda, because that's his mood. And Lord Nityananda said, Prithivite achi jato nagaradi gram, sarbatra prachar hoibe mor naam. In every town and village, my name or name of Lord Gauranga Nityananda, name of Lord Krishna will be propagated in every town and village. So he is the Adi Guru, he is Lord Balaram, and he is the Adi preacher. So it was his vision under Lord Chaitanya's instruction that we have been propagating Krishna consciousness all over the world. So how to be dear to Lord Nityananda? If we even slightly help the mission of preaching, Lord Nityananda is very pleased. Oh, you're assisting me. So no matter how fallen we are, we get Lord Nityananda's mercy. And when we get Lord Nityananda's mercy, naturally Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is on our, we are on the good books of Lord Chaitanya. And then what do we know? Eshe Vrindavane Radhe Shame Pabe Darshan, Gaur Kripa Hole Re. So when we get Lord Nityananda and Lord Gauranga's mercy, we get to see Radhe Sham face to face in Vrindavan. That's our hope. No matter how difficult it is, all we got to do is hold on to the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, Lord Gauranga. And by doing so, they will give us access to the intimate pastimes of Sri Krishna and Srimati Radharani. And thereby, we'll be able to witness, be part of the Leela of the Supreme Lord. That's our goal. Right? When we do Tulsi prayer, we're praying to Tulsi Maharani that, in Vrindavan, Bilash Kunja Diobash, give me residence in Vilas Kunj. Moro ei Abhilash, Vilas Kunja Diobash. That my desire is I want to have residence in Vrindavan. This is not a very small thing, right? So what does it mean to have residence in Vrindavan? It means everyday access to Krishna. It's like living in the White House or Rashtrapati Bhavan, or there's nothing compared to Vrindavan. But you get the point that the Supreme Lord resides there, and we are requesting residence where he resides. It's the heart of creation. How will we get that? By the mercy of Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya. What is the qualification? Eagerness. I want to be a devotee. My dear Lord Nityananda, please allow me. And a little price to pay is we help a little in the mission. We tell one person, this ISKCON people are very nice. The prasadam is so nice. Oh, chanting Hare Krishna is wonderful. Change your life. You should try it. That's it. Lord Nityananda says, wow, he's preaching. He's part of my team. I have to take care of him. I have to make sure he goes back to Godhead. And when Lord Nityananda decides something, Krishna doesn't say no to Balaram, right? Whatever Balaram says, yes, brother. So that's our secret. So even prostitutes have hope. So what to speak of us? We are very, very fortunate that we are in this movement. Natanartaka Gandharva Suta Magadha Vandinaha Gayanti Chotashmaloka Charitani Adbhutani Cha. Expert dramatists, artists, dancers, singers, historians, genealogists, and learned speakers all give their respective contributions, being inspired by the superhuman pastimes of the Lord. Thus, they proceeded on and on. So, it is showing a section of society. Dwarka is such a rich place that it has the kings and the queens, it has the farmers, it has the flower garland makers, it has the prostitutes, it has the dramatists, the artists, the dancers, the historians, the genealogists. So even learned speakers like philosophers and thinkers. So it is showing a cross section of society. But what's commonality among them? They all love Krishna. They all are glorifying Krishna. When a city, when a state, when a country becomes Krishna conscious, it is nothing different from Vaikuntha. Srila Prabhupada would say, these temples are non-different from Vaikuntha. He was in Brooklyn Temple when he said that. This is not Brooklyn, this is Vaikuntha. Because in this place, although these are bricks and mortar, and there is cement, and there is wood, and there is metal, the soul of the temple is the deities. Everybody is glorifying the Lord. Whatever is cooked is offered to the Lord. Everything is for the deity. Everything, the focus is the Supreme Lord. Hence, this is Vaikuntha. This is non-different from Vrindavan. And imagine your house. Same thing if we do. The focus is the deities. The focus is the altar. Everything is surrounding the focus of the Supreme Lord. Then our house becomes non-different from spiritual world. So thus we are Vaikuntha residents in one sense, right? Because what we do, everything is offered to Krishna. We're chanting Krishna's glories. We're chanting his holy name. We're waking up to see the pictures of the Lord. We are remembering his pastimes, the shlokas, his words. So when the place is imbued with Krishna consciousness, it is non-different from the spiritual world. And by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we have so many households, so many temples, so many restaurants, so many colleges that are such oasis of Krishna consciousness. In the material world, there is spiritual world where we have hope, where we have relief from distress, where people's lives transform, and there is happiness in the heart that we are at home. Truly, we are with our Creator. Any questions so far? Yes, Chandrima Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have two questions. One is, Dwarka was like the ideal society, right? Everybody was Krishna conscious.
Right.
So in that case, nobody will be willingly prostitute, right? So why was there that sect of people during that time as well?
Okay. What's the second question?
And second question is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes in every 1000 yoga cycles, right? But Bhagavatam, is it constant? Because in Bhagavatam there is a prediction, right? That in Kali Yuga. So does Bhagavatam changes every yoga cycle, or how is it
Okay,
there?
okay. All right. Good questions. So first question. So as Srila Prabhupada is explaining, if I read the purport, that society is comprised of not only all the so-called good things, but the so-called other things, not so good things are also there. Prison is there, hospital is there, uh, trash, places are there. So prostitute quarters are also there, gambling places are also there. Now, we have an idea that, oh, if you're Krishna conscious, you don't have sex desire. Not true, right? Uh,
Hmm.
if we look at our history, if we look at the great personalities mentioned in Bhagavatam, the sex desire they have, some of them, it's just unthinkable. The kind of things, the desires are so strong. Imagine getting sexually attracted by hearing the ankle bell of Menaka, right?
Hmm.
Or Indra, uh, who was a king of the demigods, constantly screwing up with sexual attraction, so much so that he was cursed by a lady, that his entire body becomes filled with vagina, right? So when we see that, we understand that it's not like they were all pure devotees who have no sex desire. They were pure, they were devotees, but sex
Okay.
desire was there. And when you can't do something with a wife, there has to be an
Hmm.
outlet, is what Prabhupada is saying. I'm not saying it.
Okay.
Prabhupada is
Yeah.
saying, right? So
Hmm.
if somebody has lowly desires, that you can't do it with a respectful wife. You respect your wife enough that you wouldn't do such an acts with them. What do? People will become rapist. Hence,
Right.
there is that outlet, like a pressure cooker has a safety valve.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So Vedic system, you have to understand, is inclusive, not exclusive, right? Not all people are vegetarians. There were meat eaters back then also, but there's a process for it. That on a new moon night, outside the village, you cut a goat, you say Mam Saha, you accept that goat's, you offer the goat's meat to goddess Kali, then you accept it. Thereby, your karma reduces significantly. Not slaughterhouse system, but that was the system. So Vedic system has everything in it, which is prostitution or gambling or meat eating. It's all there. Why? Because it
Okay.
is supposed, if somebody is in the lower modes of nature, do they not have hope? There's hope
Right.
for everyone. There is process for everyone. Be in the process. Why? Because if you stay in the process, naturally from Tamoguna, you will uplift to Rajoguna, to
Hmm.
Sattva to Shuddha Sattva. So hope is there
Okay.
for everyone. So we see even today within ISKCON, as Srila Prabhupada, I told you the story about the pickpocket, right? Who was
Yeah.
attracting Prabhupada's gold watch. He came running from jail, to meet Prabhupada just to get his gold watch. Prabhupada happily gave it to him. And today he is a preacher, right? All over the world, he's preaching Bhagavatam, transformed. So hope is there for everyone. Hence, yes, back then also there were people with lower modes of nature, but they are Krishna conscious.
Hmm.
So wherever you are, whatever lower modes you have, as long as you're Krishna conscious, you will be able to uplift yourself and go back home, back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada in his lectures many times have said, if you're addicted to alcohol, and when drinking alcohol, you say, Rasoham apsakamteya, Prabhat Mishashi Shurya, that I am the taste in water, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10. So when you think of you're drinking alcohol and you think of Krishna, eventually your alcohol addiction will go away and it will be replaced with other things, right? That's the
Hmm.
process. Higher taste conquers lower taste. So the our process is not remove this, remove this, remove the lower things. Our process is accept Krishna, embrace Krishna. Naturally, Maya will leave. Turn on the light, darkness will leave. Hold on to Krishna's lotus feet. Automatically, all the lower modes will get cleansed away by Krishna's presence. Prabhupada gives a very nice example that when sunlight falls on seawater or urine or dirty water, they all become distilled water. Same way, when we bring Krishna in contact with anyone or anything, they become purified. Does that answer your question, Chandrima?
Yes, 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 Prabhuji. Yes.
All right. Anybody else has? Oh, sorry. You had a second question about does Bhagavatam change? Okay. So
Yeah.
Bhagavatam is actually very large. The 18, was it 18,000 verses we have? Huh. With the 18,000 verses we have is a very small portion. And if you see it, it's narration of narration of narration, right? Sutta Goswami, we have Vyasadev, the original, Shukadev
Yeah.
Goswami. So there is like narration of narration of narration. So what we have is a narration of narration of narration. Now, the heavenly planets have verses that are in the lakhs, much
Hmm.
larger, detailed Bhagavatam. Now, does it change every yoga? Um, Slightly. So, what happens is, let's say when Krishna comes, he came in this yoga, and there are certain pastimes he does, and he repeats them on other yoga cycles. But there are little changes here and there. So even in Bhagavatam, you will see some place it will say Krishna killed the horse demon. Some other place it might say in another scripture that Krishna was playing with the horse demon, something of that sort. Where he says he killed it, and the other places says he was playing with it and then it defeated it. So what we
Okay.
understand is, oh, this was another yoga cycle. This was another yoga cycle,
Ah, okay. Okay.
right? Like there's Shweta Varaha and Rakta Varaha. So if you see any yagya happening, it will say so and so kalpe, Shweta Varaha, this, in Bharat Bhumi, it'll give all the details of where it is being spoken, what time it is, what place it is, GPS location. So we are in this yoga cycle, Varaha is a certain color. In another yoga cycle, he's another color. So
Okay.
Bhagavatam also, the narration, so the knowledge is there in the ether.
Mhm.
But as it is spoken by Vyasadeva or Shukadev Goswami, there are certain changes here and there. The philosophy, the principles are the same.
Hmm. The
Like Krishna
core
spoke
remains
the
the
Bhagavad
same.
Gita to Sun God and to Arjuna. Is it word for word exactly the same thing? The gist is same. The
Hmm.
principles are same, is my
Understood.
understanding.
Understood, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Most
Hare
welcome.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Any other questions anybody has? Huh. On the topic of prostitutes, I thought there'd be very challenging questions, but you guys are so kind. All right. Moving on. So we
Hare Krishna
got
Prabhuji.
that. Hare Krishna. Yes,
Prabhuji, can
Krishna.
I ask something?
Please.
Prabhuji, is this Dwarka what we are talking about is like in a spiritual world or it's material world?
I'm not able to understand you. Can you say that one more time?
Okay. Prabhuji, am I audible? Hare Krishna.
Now you are.
Okay. Prabhuji, I am saying that this Dwarka what we are talking about is a spiritual world or material world?
The pastime I'm talking about.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Which pastime?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Which pastime are you talking about?
So
Are
the like uh, prostitutes and all of that
Oh, this is
that we
here
are
in Dwarka, in Gujarat. So as Krishna is
okay.
entering Gujarat, as entering Dwarka, so he's being greeted by so many different personalities. And then the previous verse, I think maybe you joined a little late. The previous verse is saying that the prostitutes, the well-known prostitutes, came in their chariots. Let me just read it out. At the same time, many hundreds of well-known prostitutes began to proceed on various vehicles. They were all very eager to meet the Lord, and their beautiful faces were decorated with dazzling earrings, which enhanced the beauty of their foreheads. So they were, along with all the other personalities, the prostitutes also came to greet Krishna. And so I was explaining how Prabhupada is explaining in the purport that this is part of society. And as long as you're Krishna conscious, no matter what your activity or things are, there is hope for all of us to upgrade ourselves, towards Krishna's lotus feet.
Okay, Prabhuji, I got it. Yes, I was just trying to understand that. Okay, am I audible?
It's a little hard to understand you, but you keep going. I'm catching up.
Okay, so I was just trying to understand that in scriptures we have seen that in spiritual world there is no these kinds of like uh, I don't know how to explain. So as prostitution and all of that is available in material world, it is not needed or not required in spiritual world. So I was just trying to understand that where the pastime was.
Yeah. So spiritual world, I don't think has prostitutes. I don't think. Uh, but yeah, in the material world. So this is happening in the material world, and sex desire is the strongest desire that anybody has, and that's what the explanation was about, to just help us understand that even 5,000 years ago there were prostitutes. 5,000 years ago there were men who had certain needs that couldn't be met at home, and they had to go take shelter of the prostitute so that they don't end up being rapists and cause disturbance in society, right? I was mentioning it as a safety valve for a pressure cooker, where rather than exploiting somebody, they are going to professionals where they can get help. All right. Okay. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Kuldeep Prabhu.
Um, Wonderful lecture, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I wanted to ask, I was just like you said that there were all categories of people. So divided within the four classes, even in that time, and understanding that for all four classes, if let's say if there was a Shudra who was born with good genetics, good physicality, he could fight. So, what about that? I know it's an irrelevant question. For example, now the world has changed, and a lot of people are suffering because, let's say, their nature must be of a Vaishya, and they would be doing something else, and they're suffering, right? How would that turn out?
What is your question?
Question is, for example, in those times, were the lines broken? Now they are
Yeah.
certainly.
So most likely, a king's son would be a king, a brahmana's son would be a brahmana. But when they went to Gurukul, many of instances are there where a brahmana's son didn't become a brahmana, where a shudra became a king, where a Vaishya chose to become a Brahmana, right, and was trained accordingly due to their psychophysical nature, right? But it is uh, majorly that those who are born in a certain family would also take on that family's occupation and grow that way. And they were always, it's not like you're stuck in that. Like you're a son of a Brahmana, so you have to be a Brahmana no matter what. You're son of a doctor, so you have to be a doctor no matter what. The Gurukul system, the education system was such that the guru would be able to career counsel them and help them figure out the right path for their career. Does it answer your question, or are you asking me something else?
No, no, Prabhuji, 100%. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions on this? Okay. If not, we will continue.
May I, Prabhuji?
Please.
Prabhuji, how can we judge we are Vaishya, we are Shudra, we are like how can we judge ourselves or others also?
It's hard
Is
to
there
judge
any
ourselves.
no? Is there any criteria or
Yes.
any test? Yeah.
Yes. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna very nicely describes, I think, chapter 14, the qualities of Brahmanas, Vaishyas, Shudras, Kshatriyas. So you can naturally kind of see those qualities and identify this is a Brahmanical person. So somebody likes to teach, is sattvic, is very polite, like simple life, simple food, sattvic person, Brahminical, right? Likes to teach, likes to intellectually, think. Somebody who's a mode of passion, powerful person, leader, likes to lead, power, control, you know, gives shelter to people, Kshatriya. Somebody who is like, "Bhai, don't bother me. I'm here making money, focused on money making." Banya, right? Vaishya loves to, deal with transactions, bartering. They really understand finance very well. Number game, they get it. They're all about transactions. And then comes Shudras, those who love to do physical work, right? Intellectually, they're not so interested on intellectual things. Like, don't ask me, tell me what to do, I'll do it. Right? I love to be out in the open, work under the sun, physical labor, go to the gym, work out, give me something physical to do, I'll do it. Right? So in this verse, particularly, as we are seeing, dancers, singers. So these are actually professions that are considered Shudra profession because they're entertainers that falls in that category, right? Where the intellectual pursuit of a Brahmana is not so much interesting to them. You see all Bollywood people are mostly class 10 pass or class 12 pass, not very highly educated because acting, dancing, singing, entertainment comes naturally to them. They're not so interested in the intellectual pursuit. And that is how, such people are profoundly successful in their field, and they don't need calculus and differential equations to do that, right? So every uh, category, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, has their qualities, and one who is observant can easily identify that this person is more of a Brahminical or a Shudra like, or our dear friend of mine in Chicago, Mukunda, he would openly say, I'm a Shudra. I don't like to study scriptures. I don't like this philosophizing. Tell me what to do. Tell me to bring something, carry some heavy stuff. I'll do it. Right? Tell me to milk the cow. Tell me to cut the grass. Tell me to do this. And he's coming from a family where his mother is a PhD and his father is corporate person. But that is his nature, and that's what he loves. So society, doesn't have to be all put it in a box. So yes, there are ways to identify it, but to ourselves we can't judge. We can judge others. We can't judge ourselves, and that's where we need somebody who is a guide, who's a mentor or a guru, who can observe us, who gives us services, and then observes us and then tells us, aha, you're good at this. Right? When I started serving in Shishikishore Kishori temple, first service was making, puris. My puris were coming out like, maps of different countries. They were nothing close to being a circle. Then the next service was, something else, greeting guests, marketing, technology, and then my mentor figured out, acha, this guy is into creative stuff. He can do things like innovation, technology, website and digital marketing and getting more devotees, preaching creative ideas. So then he said, okay, this is, you're good at this, so let's give you more services. And today, as far as marketing concerned, an entire ISKCON, from all over the world, devotees come to me for that service only. But if I didn't have my mentor, I would never know what the hell is marketing. I never studied marketing in college. I never knew what marketing was when I was doing marketing for our little college club in Illinois Institute of Technology, promoting our Krishna conscious seminars. So the point is, the mentor, the guru, they give us services and they watch, how they're performing, what they're doing well, where they thrive. And accordingly, they say, aha, this is the right occupation for you. Like I remember my mentor told me back in 2009 that you should be a professor, you should teach. I'm like, teach me? I'm not getting a PhD. He's like, just try. The fact that I told you, honor the request and try. So I went to at my university. We have Institute of Design, which is the number two design school in the country. Like people who graduate from there go to Apple and other places. Very very strong design school. So given I was good with industrial design and had built products and services and all that, I went to the dean and I said, somebody told me that I should teach, and I'm just talking to you. What do you think? He said, generally we require PhD for our professors, but given your credentials, you're more than qualified to teach. I would love to have you come and teach for one semester. I was like, really? And it got approved, and I started teaching. And today I'm a guest faculty at so many IITs, so many IIMs, so many universities, and I'm a trustee at Alfred School of Management in Belgium. So education, teaching, this is like a big part of my life today. I would have never known that I could be a teacher. But my mentor saw me, how I explain things, how I preach, how I make complicated things simple. And he saw that in me. I couldn't see it. So it's important that we take service from our guides. And by the service, the qualities and the psychophysical nature is visible. And then the guidance comes, right? So that's a very important part of Krishna consciousness. I feel bad that you guys are all online. I can't see you. I can't see you in action, where I could be adding a lot more value, in your lives if that was there. But we're doing the best we can. Everybody's from every different part of the country and the world. So, we're doing the best we can. But, that's the process, is somebody who gives us service, we do the service, and a psychophysical nature becomes prominent and visible.
Prabhuji, you got so many services, so you could understand yourself. Like you got so many services in temple, so you could
I couldn't
get
understand myself.
like
No, no. I was told do this. I would never say no. That was my
okay,
qualification. Whether I know it, how to do it or not, I would not say no. I would be like, okay, let me try it. And then I would sometimes come back, like, I can't do it. And my mentor would be like, please do it. You're the only person I have who can do this. And somehow by Krishna's mercy, it would happen. So I didn't know what I was good for.
okay,
Only thing I did was say yes.
okay. And you said like Bollywood actors and all are Shudras. Like
Oh God, please don't do that. I said the profession of acting, entertainment,
acting.
dancing, these things are Shudra professions. Hence, you see that most of the Bollywood people don't need high qualification to be successful actors and singers and whatnot. Kindly
Oh,
don't misquote me.
okay, okay. Sorry, Prabhuji.
No worries. All right. Yes, Pradeep Prabhu, you're muted.
Oh, I didn't raise the hand.
I know, but you still have a question. I can see it in your face.
No,
Oh,
not
okay.
a question. Yeah.
Comment?
No,
No.
no,
Okay.
Prabhuji.
All right. Anybody else has anything? We have 5 minutes left. Okay, there is a
Prabhuji, I want to ask.
yes, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhuji. Okay, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. I wanted to ask, are Shudras naturally a lower class or just a class? Like it's there?
Just a class.
Okay.
There's no such thing as lower class or upper class. The way it is described is just like the human body. We have the head, that's the Brahmana. Without the head, nothing would work. We have the belly, that's the Vaishyas. We have the hands, that's the Kshatriyas. The legs, the Shudras. Can we say the legs are not important? Absolutely, it's important. Are the hands not important? Very important. Belly not important? Very important. Head important? Yes. All has its place. All of this put together makes a society functional. So everybody has their place. It is not higher or lower. Unfortunately, the Brahmanas, and I'm a Brahmana, so I can say it. Unfortunately, the Brahmanas, the last 5,000 years of Kali Yuga, for power and control, have made this higher and lower. How did this untouchable thing happen? Even today, any temple you go, if a priest is going on the altar, you touch the priest, no matter who you are. The priest will have to go change his clothes, take a shower, wear fresh set of clothes, then go on the altar. This is why, because you go on the altar, you go clean. You should not be touched by people who have gone to the bathroom or eaten something or unclean. Now, how did the Brahmanas use this? You cannot touch me, I'm a Brahmana. You touch me, I'll become, impure. And that's how they, like, you versus us. That's how the Brahminic society kind of made others lower caste and higher caste. But it's just a functionality, like a doctor, when going to a OT, right, will wash their hands with sanitizers and whatnot multiple times and then go to the OT. If somebody comes and shakes their hand, guess what? They have to go back, wash their hands with sanitizer, go back to the OT. Same way when you go on the altar to wear clean clothes, unsewed, clean clothes, and you should not be touched by anybody who is, who's not clean. It's as simple as that. But that was used to put people down and say, you are a Shudra, you can't touch me, and you're untouchable, and you're this and you're that.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That cleared a lot. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So we have 2 minutes. I'll not read another verse. We'll end it here. Unless somebody has a burning question. Going once, going twice, going thrice. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. See you next Friday.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.